Gold's fault I got detained? What is this? So is Hasan blaming me that he got detained at the airport? Yeah, guys, I made the call.
I never said Asmongold is the reason. What? I like that these guys live in their own little bubble where they say stuff like this. No, I never said Asmongold is the reason. I said that the type of that Asmongold and Redditors would bring up were being brought up in the line of questioning by the federal government, which I thought personally was insane, right? Because you would assume that the investigations that the Customs and Border Patrol or the Department of Homeland Security are conducting would be, you know, a little bit more informed than like a Redditor comment. Bro, everyone is jumping to be the villain in your story. It's insane. Did I even mention Asmongold's name in this? I don't even know. I might have said that like the type of questioning that came from a Customs and Border Patrol officer was like Sloptuber. You really can't do anything without someone getting pissed off. I know. It's because there's an entire ecosystem designed around dumb who don't know anything, who don't even understand the consequences of this kind of behavior from the federal government and how that might impact them or a loved one in the future, just simply are in it for drama and clicks. Of course, I don't even expect Asmongold to do the basic cursory analysis of like whether or not I even brought him up or blamed him for it. He just probably read a Reddit comment and immediately went along with it.
You support a designated terrorist organization, got you extra questioning whenever you were re-entering the country.
Oh, you want to see a Houthi musical?
Sure. I know they're singing.
This right here, what he's showing right here, is constitutionally protected speech and does not actually reach the standard of a Customs and Border Patrol investigation. That is the whole point. Why are people behaving as though this is normal when the entire reason why this is newsworthy is because it's not normal, okay? There is a reason why every single news outlet wrote about this story. The reason for why every single news outlet on the planet, including international news, wrote about this story is because this is new, okay? This is not something that is normal. That is the whole point. I am so frustrated with the stupidity of the people that have so much motion in the online discourse spaces that just rely on the stupidity of the audience to craft these idiotic arguments. Is the same reason why people will turn around and say like, well, Mahmoud Khalil was doing material support for terrorism. No, he wasn't. And that is precisely the reason why. That's a precedent-setting court case that is unfolding in front of us right now at this very moment. It is precisely the reason why he didn't do that. The reason why he didn't do that in the government's claims for this detainment is invalid, that it is becoming a Supreme Court case. You can't just simply go, I agree with it, so it's actually normal and routine. You can't just say that. You can say you agree with this detention and then craft an argument around why you agree with this detention, but you can't act like this is normal, okay? Especially at a time when obviously adults, journalists are going, this is not normal. Very frustrating that stupidity is rewarded over and over and over again, okay? You can't even get your rights violated without some moron chirping, bro. I really do not envy you. I know.
Yeah, but I'm seeing this guns and shit. This isn't a music video, Hasan.
We think the Houthis, Ansar Allah, is doing what Luffy would do.
I have no problem with the Houthis. Yeah, because I don't. What do you mean?
Yeah, okay, there it is.
If you think I'm a terrorism supporter for that reason, then yeah, I'm a terrorism supporter. What are you talking?
Okay, well, there it is. Wow.
What do you mean, okay, well, there it is? You can't just say there it is and then that's your argument, okay? This is still very much constitutionally protected speech. Please, what the is going on? It's so basic. I feel like a 14-year-old understands this concept. Oh my God. I guess you don't believe in free speech, which we knew already. He does not.
Can you believe the levels of oppression that we have today?
Gotten me arrested is insane. And I genuinely, in that moment, was thinking like, these dumbass Sloptubers are actually playing with fire. And I even thought...
Really? Playing with fire? Okay.
About, yes, they are. By the way, I like that Asmongold immediately assumed I was talking about him when I said Sloptubers. I guess he knows that he is a Sloptuber. Yes, the fact that the federal government is utilizing lists from terrorist organizations like Beitar to actually conduct unlawful detentions and deportations of student activists. The fact that The federal government is literally conducting investigations that basically revolve around like Sloptuber drama is alarming. Okay. Yes, that is what is going on here. That is what is alarming about the situation. Still crashing out pure cinema. Oh my God. Oh, chatter. I am a political commentator talking about my own personal unlawful detention by Customs and Border Patrol, which is a matter that has escalated so severely that international news is covering it because it is unprecedented in its nature, while simultaneously talking about the dangers of what this means for the future of all Americans, okay, in a country where the government is saying that they want to deny habeas corpus. This is my job. It happens to be a unique instance where it's not only my job, but it's also something that I have personally experienced. This is not a crash out. This is called political commentary. I know that so many of you are so firmly locked in on drama and slop and can't understand news and commentary and news coverage without thinking everything is drama or without thinking everything is slop. It's very frustrating about not even mentioning this because I was like, I don't want to give him any.
Okay, so that's the first lie here. Does anybody actually believe that he actually thought of not mentioning this?
He actually instantly tweeted about it, and since then reposted it dozens of times.
The reality of the matter is 100% the Trump administration is working with a lot of these dip.
That's right. I made the call yesterday when
No. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's extra frustrating because not only is this incredibly stupid, but it's extra frustrating because I know the audience is incredibly stupid and they don't have the reading comprehension here. And all they will do is listen to Asmongold's framing on the matter. My opinion here is the unique nature of the federal government's incompetence paired up with their interest in violating people's constitutionally protected First Amendment rights. It's not only incredibly dangerous, but it's also incredibly incompetent. It's incredibly incompetent. For example, and this is an example that I used in my commentary yesterday, the Trump administration's central command used targeting from a random Twitter user. And in the process of using targeting from a random open source intelligence account from the Netherlands, they ended up killing 8 civilians in Yemen because of one of the targets that they had created. This random open source intelligence account living in Netherlands caused the military to go and strike a random area in Yemen. The State Department has actively worked with organizations like Beitar that are insane. They're terrorist organizations. Like they have 501c3 status, but they're like very actively and known to be terrorist organizations. They claim to be open Kahanis and Jabotinsky supporters. These guys are creating the deportation list for the federal government. That's the reason why Rumeysa Öztürk was detained. That's the reason why she almost got deported for writing a article on a student newspaper. This in and of itself is so shocking and so alarming. And my job is to, of course, talk about this from the perspective of free speech. It is my job as a political commentator. These guys do not understand anything. They think everything is drama. They do not understand how this can impact them as well.
Hasan wasn't in the country, he was in France or whatever. And I was like, Donald, all right, we've got our chance. He's going to be coming back in a day or so. So
are playing a formative role in getting people in trouble with the law.
Yes, that's the point. We don't want people supporting terrorism, promoting terrorism on the platform. That
he proved the point that I was making. I'm 99% sure it was the Trump administration is inadvertently working with a lot of these but Asmon's editor cut out the inadvertent part. I don't know what the original comment I made was. I don't remember, but I mean, I guess we can find it and look at it and see if he actually cut that part out. These dumbass Sloptubers are actually playing with fire. And I even thought about not even mentioning this because I was like, I don't want to give him any sort of like power over the situation. But like the reality of the matter is 100% the Trump administration is inadvertently working with a lot of these dip are playing a formative role in getting people in trouble with the law. Okay? That is literally the case, but it doesn't matter because he then turns around and admits that like, yeah, we want that. We want this to happen. We want the federal government to go after people that we don't like the speech of. Like, he then turns around and admits the point that I was making, which is that this is dangerous. You're playing with fire. Like, what an insane statement. Like, what's the argument here? That you want me to be in federal prison because you don't like my commentary on American foreign policy? What a psychotic thing to admit. This is the type of shit that should instantly cause someone like this to, and their fan base to go, what the do you mean? You want a Twitch streamer to go to federal prison because you don't understand and like his commentary on American foreign policy? What the kind of free speech absolutism is this? So you're not a free speech absolutist. You are not a free speech defender at all. What's shocking about this is that it doesn't even revolve around like genuinely held convictions or political disagreements. It's just simply drama and how much the algorithm will feed Asmongold. That's what's so psychotic about it. Bro, he's just a hateful what don't you get? No, I get that. I understand that. What are you talking about? What these guys do not understand is they just stand on this position and they personally think that this won't actually impact them at all. Okay? And they're stupid for it. Oh, here, this was the tweet. I also retweeted this as well, but here, he also had these statements as well. Really interesting was in the actionable side of things.
Yeah.
They also asked, have you ever interviewed a member of Hamas? Have you ever had a communication or correspondence with a member of Hamas, Hezbollah, or the Houthis? Now, what's really insane about that is that as someone who works in media, sometimes I do actually do journalism, right? As I've maintained this position over and over again. And I said that I would
journalism is when you tell people that they're like anime characters.
Bro, be for real. Asmongold defended you at the start of all this and extended charitability on almost all occasions until you continue to slander him. What do you expect? Back at the end of the day, what are you talking about? What the are you talking about? I've never even demanded that he gets banned off the platform. You know that, right? Even when he said Palestinians are an inferior culture that deserves to be genocided. You understand that? He's been calling for my ban and now has elevated that to calling for my permanent detention by the federal government because he doesn't like my commentary. This isn't petty drama, you moron. This is real happening to me, and one day will happen to you. If it can happen to me, okay, a person with a public figure status, why the do you think you're protected? God damn. You literally talked to him to explain to him after that statement, like you extended so much charitability. I know. What is this like? Well, oh, dude, he's not charitable anymore. I don't care if he's charitable to me, dumb. There's a difference between charitability from Asmongold or whatever, and also actively supporting the federal government, packing up people that he personally has a distaste for their opinions. Like, what do you mean? He's been calling me a terrorist for months at this point. A decade of improving this space and making it a kinder, more inclusive space, and Asmon just sends it on a rocket back to Nazi hell. They're going to be saying slurs again by next year. I mean, they already are. What do you mean? Think about how many people we ban on a daily basis. Yeah, if Asmongold left this rotting ass house for once and actually left the goddamn country to get on a plane, which I assume would be a biohazard to begin with, so he might not actually be able to get on the plane. But let's say he took a shower and he wasn't actually a risk to others around him, and he got on a plane and he flew out of the country, came back into the country under the Biden administration, and the Biden administration detained him and were asking him about his personal politics, about titties in video games, or whatever or his support for the AFD, and saying, well, under our administration's perspective, the AFD is actually a dangerous far-right radical group. Or the fact that he, named his WoW character after Anders Breivik or something. Do you think that his audience would not talk about how much of a cancel culture backed movement was taking place here? Of course they would. They would lose their minds. They would understandably lose their minds. You want to know why I know that? Because people on Twitter get mad at Asmongold and he cuts content about how he's been canceled over and over again, and millions of people cry alongside him. This is not a cancellation. This is a violation of the First Amendment rights that every American citizen has. It's a violation of numerous rights. That's precisely the reason why so many like ACLU and so many of these other civil rights organizations and litigators have come out to be like, this is completely unacceptable. Do you not understand this? I like that we are also in the process of seeing how fascism manifests in the collective consciousness as well. Like, how many people find themselves staring directly at a situation like this that might even impact them in the long run and refuse to entertain the notion that this is completely unacceptable? refuse to entertain that the idea that like this should not happen, and they just go along with it and say, nah, it's a person that I don't personally like, so I cannot comprehend how this would somehow turn on me one day. Okay? This is how fascism takes place. This is how people cheer for authoritarianism. When you look at the current government and you make this calculation, understand that you are basically advocating for your rights to be taken away as well, erroneously, ridiculously, arbitrarily. It's not about your own personal opinions of me, okay? It shouldn't be about that. It's not about that. It's not about your own personal opinions of my commentary in general. It's about your rights, because my rights are also your rights. We are both American citizens.
Journalism is when you tell people that they're like anime characters.
For the record, you might not like my conduct in a conversation that took place with someone that I thought was a Houthi, found out he wasn't a Houthi, and then chose to humanize. But that doesn't mean that there isn't journalistic value in that conversation. As a matter of fact, yes, there was journalistic value in that conversation. It was a scoop that many in the media also tried to get. Just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean that that is not a valuable conversation that took place. There were plenty of valuable pieces of new information that came out of that, like, for example, the fact that we learned that he is not a Houthi, or the fact that we learned that he actually has no issues with Jewish people as long as they are anti-Zionist. So he was just some other terrorist? What the are you? Okay. No, he wasn't. Terrorism isn't just like brown person that I don't like. I know that you're using it as that as a catch-all term, but that's just gross and racist. No, he's just a 19-year-old Yemeni who supports the Houthi movement, who supports the Ansar Allah movement. So the other side of this, for the record, the other side of this that is like really dangerous that I wanted to also talk about is the fact that material support for terrorism is illegal in this country, as in you are not allowed to offer financial help to a designated terror group. You are not allowed to offer logistical help, training, things of that nature to a designated terrorist group. But this administration is trying to muddy the waters, as previous administrations have as well, in an effort to erode First Amendment protections. They want to make it so that speech is considered material support as well. There are court cases that have been set forth already to get to this point. They are trying to blur the lines between offering any sort of commentary or any sort of support verbally for a designated terror group. They want to turn that into material support, which is already under existing law as being illegal. This is a severe violation of the First Amendment protections. That is by design. They are trying to do this to take away the constitutional protection that you and every American and every non-American on U.S. soil has. Do you understand? That's the point of contention here.
I don't want to be too particularly mean, but if Hasan was as big of a journalist as he claims he would be, maybe Bernie Sanders would sit down with him for more than 15 minutes.
Once again, Asmongold, I don't even consider myself to be a journalist, but journalists do. It's not my consideration. I routinely say I'm not a journalist, although I do have the capacity to sometimes do journalism. As I mentioned here, I know words are very difficult for you to comprehend. But also, what I simply don't understand is there's just such a basic thing that you can Google here. Like, I didn't just talk to Bernie Sanders once. I talked to Bernie Sanders for a longer period of time before then. Like, I don't understand. We're just like, how many hours do I have to talk to Bernie Sanders until, I guess, Asmongold considers me a journalist? Is Theo Vaughn a journalist since he had a 2-hour conversation with Bernie Sanders? Is that how this works? Is there a Bernie Sanders metric? Normal media hits on NBC or whatever also take 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes. Oftentimes it takes 9 minutes. Like it's a certificate where if Bernie Sanders talks to you over a certain period of time, then you're considered a journalist, I think. Isn't the whole point to invalidate people actually researching and declaring the truth in his little clips to make that factual, since everyone will just listen and not do their due diligence? Yes.
Not trying to be mean, but you're
I'm
a
not
streamer.
trying to be mean.
Stop trying to act like you're a journalist.
I'm not. I don't say I'm a journalist. I say I'm a Twitch streamer and a political commentator. But a Twitch streamer and a political commentator does have the capacity to do journalism from time to time. That's just the truth. Now, ironically enough, once again, I don't say I'm a journalist, but journalists do consider me to be a journalist. That's part of the reason why journalists like Ested Herndon from the New York Times will have me come and speak at the University of Chicago, as I did yesterday, to talk to an entire room about modern media. Someone came up to me at the airport, a HasanAbi head, said that she wrote her thesis on me, said that apparently in Northeastern, the college that she went to, that there were 3 media courses specifically designed around what I do in new media and politics. The space that we're in is relatively new, and I try to do my very best, but it seems like people who study journalism, they consider this to be a new area of journalism. Having said that, once again, I don't consider myself to be a journalist. I don't say I'm a journalist, but international media certainly does. Tell him he's a house troll. Stop trying to pretend his opinions have any basis in reality. He's not even a part of society. I know. And I already do plenty of that as well. But the unfortunate reality is that there are a lot of dummies out there who do take his word as bond. So we are trapped in this unique space where I have to entertain the stupid ass arguments that he's trying to put together. I would have given the opportunity to talk to someone that is a part of the Ansar Allah movement, a Houthi, or even Hamas, or even Hezbollah, right?
Nobody would be criticizing that. And you guys remember, I defended him interviewing this guy until I watched it and I saw the entire thing myself.
I like that he also thinks that like his opinion is worth anything. How deluded do you have to be like, yeah, you know, I'm a real mover and shaker in this space. A guy who wasn't washed his ass in 8 months.
Because I agree with this in essence, but not in this practice.
Oh, it doesn't reach the standards that Asmongold has for journalistic ethics. Guy who watches Tyler Oliveira videos every broadcast to go, yeah, based. Oh, my bad, dude. Thank you. Who died and made you the journalism pope, brother? I think that I have the right to do so. And what was interesting, you don't do journalism, you grift. I know, Chatter. That's why the federal government is trying to arrest me. Yes, because I'm grifting too hard. Still has more views than you? Yeah, I know. He's always had more views than me. Do you think that that actually means that he is a position of authority on what is journalism and what isn't journalism? The Big Bang Theory was one of the most successful TV shows while it was being aired. What does that tell you other than it's just the most popular show? Yeah, let's call up Mr. Beast. Let's hear his take on the Houthis. He has the most views, obviously. He has more views than you, but he's still jealous that you are being taken seriously and not him. I don't even think so. I mean, Asmongold is a very insecure person. Obviously, that's the reason why he stopped streaming on his main account, because he was worried that people were going to yell at him or people were yelling at him too much. But since then, he has obviously elevated his status on his alt account as well. But I don't think he necessarily cares about people taking him seriously, because if he did, he would at least like try to change up his image. You know what I mean? I think he just sees this as content. He just sees this as drama. He knows that a lot of people love getting fed a constant sea of unregulated slop that says Hasan is bad and wrong, and that's pretty much it. He does care about being perceived as intelligent. I think so. I guess if he cared about his perception, he again would change up his presentation a little bit. But I think the only thing he cares about is being liked and having high views, like high viewer counts. That's pretty much it. All right, let's continue.
Their idea of saying somebody's grifting is stupid. Like, somebody is grifting whenever they believe something and then they do the opposite. Yeah, I don't know what to say. And so one chatter. No, and the thing is, like, he gonna get mad about that. That's it. He's lying and he hates his fan base. I don't want to get into that.
He's lying and he hates his fan base? What the f?
The whole point. Yes.
That is literally the case.
And also, by the way, keep in mind, nothing happened to him. He didn't get fined. He was allowed re-entry into the country. He was inconvenienced for a period of time. And yeah, that's what happens when you...
Asmongold, when random Twitter accounts say he's disgusting and smelly, will make videos crying about it endlessly. But when the federal government detains you for your constitutionally protected speech, he knew exactly who the guy was. See Asmon living rent-free in your head is too funny. What? Dude, I don't think you guys understand how rent-free works, okay? If you are making a 41-minute video about me, I'm not the one who's living rent-free. Like, look at this. He's getting banned 100%, and then it's a AI image that says self, 41 minutes long of him just like crying. And what is this off of? Oh, that's right. It's a tweet where I said, Asmongold should take a shower. He said, shower, I choose death. But if we go back to it, okay, if we go back to the actual tweet that he's crying about, you will notice that I'm quote retweeting him talking about me again. How does that happen? It's him talking about me, talking about videos of me. Do you guys go and complain about how rent-free I am in his mind? No, you don't. You love it. Krusty Anarchist Asmongold. Yeah, I'm going to bring out roach spray when the roaches start scattering. Getting personally, no valid points. I think it's a pretty valid point to say Asmongold should most likely shower. You might not think that because you're probably also a disgusting little cretin. Stop stinking. Stop being stinky. You're stinky. You smell. This is his content, Lamau.
It's actually really simple. There's a squirrel.
I didn't shower for over a month. My full review. Oh my Lord, dude. Oh my Lord. Guys, stop sending me a shorter format. How many videos does this guy have talking about why he doesn't shower? Oh my Lord. Okay, we don't need to see this. We don't need to see this.